Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, Master's in Counseling Psychology, professional astrologer, psychic healer, and yogi. In today's episode, my guest is Sarah Adams, fellow astrologer extraordinaire. We're going to discuss the upcoming astrological fireworks in July and beyond of 2026. You're going to want to stay tuned to get the scoop. Welcome to the episode featuring my guest, Sarah Adams. Sarah is the founder of Water and Earth Intuitive Consulting, and she is an integrative intuitive practitioner and channeler offering professional holistic life coaching, hypnosis, regression therapy, past life therapy, spiritual mentorship, astrology, card reading, as well as Reiki and chakra work. She has been practicing since 2001, offering support to clients and students via private sessions, readings, parties, fundraisers, lectures, events, and workshops. Sarah holds a master's degree in communication from Suffolk University and certifications from the Edgar Cayce Association for Research and Enlightenment. She's also a writer, researcher, advocate, marketing consultant, program manager, and event planner, offering these services through her boutique consulting business. The most important role in her life, however, is being a mom to her 3 daughters, who she is raising to be empowered and empathetic young women in Plymouth, Massachusetts. You can reach Sarah through her business, Water and Earth Intuitive Consulting, or her email, Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, at waterearthconsulting.com. And she even shares her phone number, 774-708-0703. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome my guest today, Sarah Adams. Welcome, Sarah.
Hey, Jill. Thanks for having me here. It's so exciting to be on Cosmic Scene again.
Yes, and we have a lot to share and break down for our listeners about the wild astro antics with air and fire in July, as they all do their dance at 4 degrees of air and fire, including Neptune in Aries, Uranus in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius, and the latecomer to the party will be Jupiter. Toward the end of the month, will be coming into 4 Aquarius. So it's quite the dance, and astrologers
For
are
Leo.
Yes, in Leo.
Opposing Pluto in Aquarius.
Exactly. And astrologers have been trying to interpret this, and I don't think anyone can really get a clear handle on it. Everybody's trying to interpret what is coming, and you and I have our ideas. And I'd love you to jump into it and kind of throw the wide stroke, the wide brush, and then we'll break it down. So what you got?
I'm no Bob Ross, but let me paint a picture for you. And as we envision how destiny is unfolding, we can remember Bob Ross used to say, there are no mistakes. There are only little birds. You know, he'd make a mistake and turn it into a bird or a tree. So
great metaphor.
Anyhow, so let's paint a picture here. To go with that, life is kind of what you make of it. And I think that intuitives are having trouble kind of triangulating it down to one timeline, because with Uranus and Gemini, the sign of duality, Gemini, the sign of the twins, we're not dealing with just one timeline. You know,
what?
Explain
that.
The duality. So we live on planet duality, on planet Earth. And, you know, there's a lot of division on Earth because of all the duality that comes with human beings. I mean, you know, all our differences, et cetera, et cetera. So Uranus in Gemini, the last time it was fully in Gemini was the 1940s. And Uranus is considered the mind of God, and it brings in technology, great insights. Uranus and the building of the bomb in the 40s were always very connected. So anyways, right now with Uranus in Gemini, the sign of the twins, of duality, duality between high vibration and low vibrations, and even duality is about how reality could manifest, how destiny could manifest. We're kind of seeing with Uranus, that higher mind of God, that outer planet, sending this information and technology and higher perspectives. With it in Gemini, we're seeing that there are kind of two outcomes like right now. And we're even seeing, if you live in the United States, we're seeing that we live in two Americas even.
Right.
So that duality is playing out in many different ways, as I'm sure you could extrapolate upon. So
Right.
I think that, to kind of lead into this whole discussion, I think that's why we can't nail it down with the predictions.
Yes, because what's happening is you so eloquently expressed that we're basically living in multiple or at least two different timelines going on, and people are living in a reality that's different to yours, even if they're in the same room with you or especially in the same town. And I believe that the Uranus and Gemini, which has only been going on since April 22nd, but it's really moving things fast, is also beyond political divisions, which is what we had experienced. It's
Yes.
lifestyle, it's consciousness, really. It's like how people view the world. And it's also, we'll talk about the Neptune later, bringing in the delusional part. But the Uranus and Gemini is speeding up things. It's giving people at any point in time, do I do A or B? It's giving
Hmm.
decision
Yeah.
making. And
Yes.
I,
Do I
yeah, do I do
do I
A?
want to watch this news? Do Am I following this thought collective, or am I tapping into a different soul group? Do I want to use AI, or am I not going there? I mean, there's a lot of different things, and it's a bigger picture, like you said, than politics. I'd even say the duality right now, are we team life or are we team destruction? Like, because I think it's bigger than politics. It's more about who actually cares about stewarding the earth and being holders of light, and who cares about healing and uniting as a human family with unity consciousness, which we've kind of lost right now.
Right.
And then who is just focused on profit, power, or even the people. Like, there are a lot of citizens where they might not be focused on profit or power, but they're so used to following the rules, they're just going to do what they're told or believe what they're told to believe. So I see the Gemini and Uranus split truly about where do we put our consciousness. And that's Gemini, right? It's ruled by Mercury. It's our minds. It's our conscious.
Right.
And Uranus is the higher conscious.
Right. And I think that the powers that be are grappling to get people's attention, which is their energy, which is their life force, so they can continue the servitude program, the enslavement program. And Uranus and Gemini, Uranus is breakthrough, Uranus is
Yes.
break free. And in
The great
Gemini,
equalizer.
right, it's giving people a choice. Do you want to
Yes.
go along this trajectory and have other people tell you how reality is in their view as they hold all the cards and they can trump you? Or do you want
No
to
pun
create
intended.
the reality that you and your soul and other like minded people on the path of human evolution, soul evolution, and galactic consciousness are pursuing? And like you
Yes.
said, AI is huge in this because everybody, it is a tool. It can help with work things. But I always remind people it's not sentient. It doesn't have a consciousness,
Mm.
although people would like to think that it does. It is a technological program algorithm without a consciousness. So you can let that control your life, or you can let it help you with your business or do the minor task of detail or art,
Yes.
detail work.
Yes. And if we were going to compare Uranian consciousness with, say, Mercury consciousness, or higher and lower selves, let's put it this way. I don't think it's dangerous if someone is using AI for basic things that are like lower mind functioning. Like, it's basically like you're doling out your executive functioning tasks
Exactly.
to this tool. I don't personally use it for myself because I'm a Taurus. I'm an old fashioned Taurus. So I'm a purist and I'm just trying something different. I'm raising, three preteen girls. I'm just trying to be as technology free as I can, but I'm not judging if people are using it. This is where I get concerned. use it for the mercurial basic functioning stuff, like low level. When people are turning to chat gpt, and this is very uranian, and trying to get like god-like answers through it, like people are using it for therapy. And again, I'm not a clinical therapist, this is my opinion, I'm not an expert on this area. People are turning to chat gpt for companionship, also for like divination. They're asking it about astrology. They're asking it about like the meaning of life or what's really going on, or about aliens, about all this stuff. That's where I just want to remind people AI was built by big tech oligarchs, like the tech bros. So this
But
tech that they're
but they're
creating,
just the latest installation though of that kind of consciousness with
of
the
course, of
populace.
course,
I mean, they're
of
just the
course.
next
These are
level.
old lessons. We could go on all day about the highs and lows, but the point of bringing this up is, as many listeners may or may not know, Uranus is in Gemini. That is air. Air is thoughts. Uranus rules Aquarius and Mercury rules Gemini. These are all mental oriented aspects because air rules our thoughts. So that's why, we got started in this conversation with Uranus. That's why we're talking so much about thoughts, why thoughts matter, but also where you get your thoughts from.
Yes.
And again, your listeners, like it depends what generation. Maybe the people listening to this don't have to worry as much, but kids, my kids' age, teenagers, college students, this is their new normal. So it's so normal that generation just ask Chat GPT. But what if Chat GPT isn't telling you accurate information? And also just do the research. That's where I'm just going to say it with a grain of salt. Watch your thoughts. Also, as a certified hypnotherapist, Jill, you also have done hypnotherapy work for decades. As a certified hypnotherapist, the mind believes whatever we tell it.
Right.
And so that's why it's important where we put our consciousness. But furthermore, I have degrees in marketing advertising. I know you do too, Jill. If you look into like advertising psychology and how advertising has been rolled out the last century, it's all like it's all tied into the same behavioral programming ideas. So everything in our culture and our society, whether it's the news, the media, advertising, or now chat gpt, or any of the
Right.
noise,
Even like
it's
TikTok,
all,
YouTube, they all have to
yes,
have
the algorithms.
the hook.
there
They have to have a hook
there's
in order to be
yes.
viewed, and that's what
And
people
right.
respond to.
And been the research about how dangerous social media is, but that's nothing new. Social media is just new as far as like, especially now with these aspects. Pluto and Aquarius brings power and the voice to the people. With the Uranus and Gemini, that's very much amplifying social media. It's great because creator content can now come from the bottom going up
Right.
rather than just the top down communication model. People, average day people like you and I, can create content. It's great. But I think we don't realize in our society, we're overstimulated. The monkey mind, as the Buddhists call it, is constantly chattering. And then you add in all this other stuff. And it's just another layer of behavioral programming convincing us, we're not enough. You need this, you need that, buy this, buy that. So now more than ever, this is why you see a boom in wellness. Like every other wellness coach is like, reset your nervous
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
It's because of this.
Well,
So again,
really?
this is all air.
Right. Right. And the thing is that like yes, it's the nervous system, but it's not the nervous system. It's like where are people putting their attention? And the thing they have to remember, they have the choice, Gemini. Where do you want to put your attention? Because
Yes.
you can go down those rabbit holes and that takes time. That takes energy. Those are valuable. Those are currency. Everybody's
Right.
worried about money and financial. It's like your life force is your currency. So protect
Yes.
it and don't give it away.
Yes.
And don't let those people who are creating these non-sentient products or these artificial intelligences take over your life. And many people are doing it.
No.
And I totally agree with you. It's a tool. Use it accordingly. You wouldn't go crazy with a drill or another kind of tool if you didn't know what you were doing with it. So I love that.
Yes.
I love that what you
Yes.
said. It's
And
discernment.
we can't worry about it because there's a whole stage of drama playing out, on the stage of this outmoded patriarchal play. These are the final acts of it. So it's like observe and stay aware so that you can discern where you're putting your money, what products you're choosing. I don't want to give my money to something that's going to fund corruption or genocide or whatever. It's like, that's my choice. That makes me feel more empowered. And people can also make the choice to ignore it all. It's not about wrong or right, it's just about where we want to vibrate. And, sometimes when you're an intuitive and you're in healing work, you can ignore it, and that's fine too. We signed up for it. My balance is plugging in to stay aware and then pulling back to like do the charity starts at home thing, like be present with my children, touch grass, walk barefoot outside, like be in nature, garden. I mean, we have to find the balance because it is
Right.
what it is right now.
So connecting, I think the balance is connect to nature, connect to the earth, being a physical, sentient, spiritual being, having a material plane experience, but not forgetting your source. And when we come
Yes.
back, Sarah, we'll talk about the empowerment piece with this, with Pluto and Aquarius, and people coming back to their power despite the illusion and delusion of Neptune and Aries. But I see Neptune
Yes.
and
Power
Aries.
to the
Yeah,
people.
and Neptune and Aries, what I have cracked the code with that is all the musicians, Neptune,
Yes.
and all
The
the
art.
creatives and artists, and hopefully some of the
Aries.
some of the actors and actresses we've seen. You told me a story about Susan Sarandon, which I loved. How
Yes.
all those people who are Neptunian, meaning they're creative, they're actresses, actors, musicians, how they're coming into power and leading the charge, so to speak. So stay tuned.
Yes.
Hi there, this is Jill Jardine, host of Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, and I have some news for you. Some of you know that I have a book that's published called Sacred Sound Formulas to Awaken the Modern Mind, Sanskrit Mantras to Raise Your Vibration. Well, now I have the companion oracle cards for Sacred Sound Formulas to Raise Your Vibration. You're going to have a lot of fun with these. You pull a card, you get the mantra that will help you at whatever moment you pick the card, and so much more. So make sure you go online and order yours now, JillJardine.com. Welcome back. My guest is astrologer Sarah Adams. We've talked a little bit about Uranus and Gemini, back for the first time in 84 years since World War II. Well, we're going to talk about another planet in fire, Neptune in Aries. Saturn's also there. Saturn's in a later degree. Neptune will be heart of this magic triangle at 4 degrees air and fire. And Neptune was last in Aries during a war. Sarah, you want to tell us about that?
So, yeah, Jill, Neptune was last in Aries from 1861 until 1875 during the Civil War era. And Neptune shapes how we perceive reality. It influences religion, spiritual paradigms of viewing existence. And I like to think in Neptune and Aries, it because Neptune can be the planet of illusion. In Aries, a fire sign, it burns up some of the illusion. And as we are all surviving late stage patriarchy, I'm hoping Neptune and Aries can help be our spiritual warrior. My Boston accent just kicked in. Spiritual warrior, Amazon woman, goddess energy, so to speak.
And not a Jeff Bezos
And
Amazon woman.
no, no, no. I mean like the jungle, tribal woman energy. So Neptune and Aries on the downside. It can incite war, conflict, over beliefs in religion in particular. It can encourage escapism, spiritual bypassing, cult like mentalities. And, seeing how we've had a separation, we were founded our country on a separation of church and state.
Yes.
And that's kind of been dissolved in America lately, it feels like. Neptune and Aries in play. And also with the holy wars that have re escalated again in the Middle East. The upside of Neptune and Aries, it's encouraging seeing how many are re embracing the feminine divine.
Yay.
And Jill, you and I talk about this. We actually, as spiritual healers, help a lot of women leaving rigid sects of Abrahamic religions. I mean, all the time. We both have clients that we're helping, and they can stay in that religion, but maybe they're re-embracing their own feminine divine. And that can be a real big deal for women who've never embraced that.
Right. And Neptune and Aries, you mentioned it, it's cults. It's cultish behavior, and even
Mm.
some major religions have that in as part of it, or at
Yes.
least sects, let's say sects of
Yes.
major religions can have that,
Yes.
and it tends to be patriarchal in nature. Just go
Yes.
watch Netflix. There's many there's Netflix is making a good business these days on cult
Yes.
documentaries, and they're
So many.
fascinating. They do such a great job
Yes.
too. But
Yes.
yeah, so if people don't understand what we're talking about, just check out Netflix and their cult documentaries. There's plenty to choose from.
Yeah.
But
And it's women in particular who are coming to us as women. And especially I think you and I, Jill, like we were lucky with our upbringings. I mean, we were not forced to conform to any specific organized religion, and maybe it's why we are who we are and are able to help so many people. All of us, I think all of us in the Western world are defragmenting a little bit of behavioral programming because the patriarchy has been strong since the dawn of Western civilization. And this idea, wherever people are at, that like we all have rights. We all have the right to eat, to live, to be housed, for education. We all have rights to enjoy this beautiful world. Who owns land? Who should have rights? Who, there are ideas right now in the collective about chosen groups of people. Like Pluto and Aquarius says humans are the group of chosen people, all of them. Pluto and Aquarius is reminding us power to the people, decentralizing hierarchical religions, that we're all divine children of God. And Neptune and Aries, if you think about it, and we also have Chiron in Aries right now at very final degrees. And Chiron's the asteroid, the wounded healer, saying we all have the right to live. Because Aries is the right to live. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's survival, it's fire, it's creation, it's birth. And I think that when we talk about the feminine divine, it's not anything about men versus women. It's more re embracing the matriarchal perspective that all children should have rights and that all children should be protected, that there shouldn't be children based on where they live or what the color of their skin is or what religion they are or what their gender is or any of it. Like no divisions, we're just a human family. And the matriarchy essentially is putting putting children at the center of the circle, having women around them to nurture them, and then the men and the women in the periphery, the strong adults, because we could have tough lesbians protecting us too, right? Like we're all in it together, especially, Pride Month, right? There's different gender roles and different people. So it's even when I say men and women, the gender roles are all interchangeable now. Men aren't the only protectors. There can be women protecting men. But the
right.
idea with matriarchy, we're all in it together. Patriarchy puts men in the center and then they benefit while, like, women and children are disenfranchised. That model didn't work, kind of like maybe late stage capitalism. So it's
Right.
like, here we are, matriarchy saying, let's just center children. Let's lift up women so they can protect and nurture the children. And men, this is not man hating. Men, actually, we need you more now than ever. So when women say, let's end the patriarchy and center children, they're not like excluding men. It's just saying we have a system now where many of our world leaders, many men in power, many of the elite like to hurt children. That was like patriarchy failing. So when people talk about end of patriarchy, bring back matriarchy, bring back the feminine divine, it's literally just like, hey, the earth is our mother. Let's take care of our mother. This is our home. Let's take care of children. We were all once children. Children are our future. And maybe like not any day soon, but someday in the future, it would be wonderful to live in a world where our tax money is going back towards all of us again
Right.
and not towards funding wars we don't want and towards genocide.
Right.
So that is what I hope for with Neptune and Aries, that
Right.
beacon of like hope of survival for humanity. And also, Neptune is love. We know Venus is love, but Venus is like interpersonal love. Neptune is the highest vibration of love. So if we could all have that loving perspective of being a world family and re-embrace unity consciousness, then we're dissenting the behavioral programming to divide and fight and oppress each other, and we're stronger united than we are divided.
Right.
So
Yeah.
let's do
So,
it.
well, I want to speak to some of the things you said. First of all, Aries,
Yeah.
first sign of the zodiac. Aries is considered one of the child signs, as is Leo, but it's like Neptune
Yes.
and Aries that we've been kind of, Neptune is delusion. People have been deluded about like the prominence that we should be putting our children or the new beginnings of our country. We should be caretaking and really facilitating their growth, their education. And as you said, it hasn't shown up like that. There's been all this other stuff happening with children.
Well, and yeah, yes. And we're actually seeing disempowered children in detention centers, maybe not getting food,
Right.
clothing, medical care, or any in missing school.
Right.
And then I think, too, what hurts is money that should be going into our like kids public school lunches is being taken away, and when it's diverted to things like that like not all Americans support ICE, so why is all our money going there? Or not
Right.
all of Americans support the war in the Middle East, so
Right.
why are our
Right.
tax dollars going there? And this is my opinion. It's not the opinion of this show or you, Jill, or listeners. You can believe whatever you want. This is just one perspective.
Right.
And I'm saying it in a loving way out of care for children,
Okay.
not
So,
even to be political.
right. So, to getting back to Neptune and Aries, it's like there was a delusion or distraction that we should, this is a new cycle, and Saturn's also in Aries. So, let's start again. Let's look at those youngsters in our society and help them because they are the future. The other thing we talked about off mic with Neptune and Aries, Aries is sort of like the warrior and Neptune are the creatives. And what we've been seeing are the creatives in our society speaking up against the government. So in a Plutonian way,
Yes.
the artists, the musicians, Bruce Springsteen, the
Yes.
conscious actors and actresses speaking up and just saying, listen, let's unite and we're in it for everybody, which then will segue us for the last portion about Pluto and Aquarius. Let's talk a few.
Yes.
Pluto's been in Aquarius now for a couple of years, but what's your take on Pluto and Aquarius, especially as it dances with Uranus and Gemini and Neptune and Aries?
Yeah. So Pluto, the transformer, was last in Aquarius, like fully in Aquarius for the transit post Revolutionary War, 1778 to 1798. So it's so interesting with this triangle of outer planets and these 4-degree, air fire aspects, all last being in these positions during wartime. So Pluto in Aquarius, no coincidence. It's about independence. And, it showed up when America first got its independence. And it's about decentralization of power. So that last translit was decentralizing the power from the British Empire. So here we are now, though, with modern Pluto and Aquarius. And it's talking about equality among genders, balance of male and female energies, Aquarius encompasses all. It's include all, exclude none. Power to the people, as we mentioned, equity for all. Pluto in Aquarius is fueling the protest culture. It's fueling the revolution right now. That's part of the decentralizing of the power. And it's also about bringing up the conversation about rights for all, regardless of nationality, papers, borders, the idea of no borders, just one human family. And, if you go back and you look at like intelligence agencies throughout the world, like geopolitics and how things have played out over the decades, it just makes you realize these laws, these governments, these borders, and these rules, like who are they actually written by and who's really running things? So, Pluto and Aquarius, that's a rabbit hole you can go down or not. But Pluto and Aquarius is saying, stop the division. It's what the fascist elites want. If we have a divided country, then we cannot be united. Pluto and Aquarius, the way to fight the power is for all the people to unite. And
Power of the
again,
people.
you could go down a number of rabbit holes. That's not my point. My point is protest has always been the voice of the collective to fight authoritarianism. So the Uranus Pluto trine, that is amping up the revolutionary energy as well as innovations in technology. So let's talk about high vibration versus low vibration. We already talked about the concerns with tech, but what about with Pluto and Aquarius as we're going through this humanitarian revolution? People are waking up, empathy's still alive, we're bringing power to the people. Maybe we can focus on moving towards a future where we're using innovations in technology for good to cure chronic illness, to harness solar power. I think with the Uranus Pluto trine, again, Uranus and Gemini choices, Pluto and Aquarius, decentralizing power, central power, and bringing the power to the people, we can say, well, maybe all this revolutionary energy, even though it's disruptive, we don't want to have a country in chaos or a world in chaos. What if we can harness it towards dissenting old, outmoded ways of being and saying, I'm not going to fall into the division anymore. I'm going to embrace the unity consciousness. And let's, as a humanity, focus on using innovations in a way that will benefit us all moving forward. Because Pluto is breaking up the top down power, the hierarchies, the way the system of society that we all succeeded in, it's kind of crumbling. So almost like, I don't know, it's almost transformer energy. Like, let's transform this for something better that works for us. We don't have to sell all our farmland to data centers. We can decide to harness technology better, keep the farmland, and focus on a food chain supply that can feed us all.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And then Jupiter and Leo, it gives us hope. It's like a hot air balloon lifting us up to see the higher perspective and expand in a harmonious way rather than a destructive one.
I love it. We'll go out with that. Beautiful.
Yes, and with Neptune and Aries, let's change the paradigm, maintain the higher perspective of love for our human family. That's what I'm rooting for, Jill.
Love, that's it. Love, peace, prosperity, and power to the people.
Woohoo! Come on, baby, light my fire, Neptune and Aries. I'm ready for it.
I hope you enjoyed this episode featuring my guest astrologer, Sarah Adams. Remember to subscribe, share, download, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, sending astrological energies of healing, light, love, prosperity, and more into the quantum field.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.